Alright, folks, let's go ahead and see if we can hop into it. Hope you guys are having a pretty good day. I think I am, so. Other than the fact that I'm completely deaf right now. So I got like fluid in my only ear I can hear out of, so I'm relying entirely on bone-anchored hearing aid, and it's a little bit agitating because hearing aids do not hear the way ears do, so it's like, especially these digital hearing aids that rather than amplifying everything equally, amplify different frequencies with more intensity. So it's like I can hear everything except speech. It's kind of like how it ends up working. I gotta wonder if there's like an analog version of the bone-anchored hearing aid I could try out. It just is like just straight amplification without all the processing and stuff. I feel like the processing doesn't always work. In fact, anytime there's background noise, processing tends to not help. Alright guys, what do we want to start with today? How about another tier list, but instead of movies, instead of music, we will do books. Let's do that. Let's think of Stephen King books here. So let's get this up here. Now, I haven't read all Stephen King books, in case you're wondering. And the reason is because there's a lot of books, and this isn't even all of them. So this was just the tier maker someone made with his books. There's stuff I've read that's not on here. Like The Green Mile is not really a book. This was included in a story collection. It's missing Ride the Bullet and stuff. So we could do the books and then the movies, or however we want to do it. If you've read a book, you let me know where it should be. I've read a lot of Stephen King books though, so I think you can get a good bead on Stephen King as an author. I think he's a talented writer in a lot of respects, but he's a pantser. And so most of the problems that come with the books, most of the time you're like, this book isn't good, it's because the ending is bad, because he didn't really write it with the ending in mind. That is to say, he's writing from the seat of his pants. He's gardening. He begins a book with an idea and then has to figure out how to finish it. So there tends to be this big kind of lull about halfway through the book, and then a chaotic try to transition into some kind of ending, and then the story ends. Now, sometimes that works out because you can get some unexpected endings. Other times it doesn't really work out. So would you consider doing character analysis from fiction? I've already done that. I've done that a bunch of times. So there's a ton of content that's like that already. So yeah, I would consider it because I've already done it. Some of my most watched videos are that kind of thing. I could do specific characters, but I'd have to think about how that's going to cue into the algorithm and stuff. All right, here we go. Stephen King books. A bunch of these I haven't read, so I'm just going to skip them if I haven't read it. So this one, which is about JFK, I didn't read that. So if you read that, you tell me what the actual rating ought to be, and then we'll go with whatever your rating is. We'll do your rating. Somewhere Far Beyond predicted the Dark Tower's ending just 2 books in. Were there only 2 books then? Yeah, that's interesting. I hadn't really thought about that. I have to go back and listen to that album again. And the main song, All right, so I haven't read this one. Bag of Bones, I don't really remember. I read it, but I don't remember it. So I'm not sure where I should put it. The Billy Summers I haven't read. Now, Black House that he wrote with Peter Straub, I would put as a B. This is a sequel to actually a rather interesting and I think really good fantasy book he wrote with Peter Straub called Talisman. So we'll get to that one. But the sequel's kind of a B. It was okay. I don't really remember a lot of the plot details. I remember thinking it wasn't as good as Talisman. It's got a lot more focus on horror elements and stuff. And like a lot of sequels, it just doesn't really know where it's trying to pick up from the last book. That you get that sometimes with sequels. So Richard Bachman, Blaze. This is, another thriller book. It's okay. It's short enough that it can't really go off the rails, and it's Richard Bachman, but it was released just a couple years ago because it was one of his books that he never published. And if you don't know Richard Bachman as his pen name, basically back in the late 70s and early 80s, the traditional view in publishing was that you couldn't, the audience wouldn't accept more than one book from an author per year, and Stephen King was writing 4 books a year. So he couldn't publish all his books as Stephen King, so they were being published as under pen name Richard Bachman. So The Running Man was a Richard Bachman book, which I think is one of his better ones. And so they tend to be these kind of action-oriented thrillers. In general, I like the Richard Bachman books, and I think because of their shorter nature, they're usually 100,000 words or so, or maybe less. I think they're a lot more focused, compact, better versions of his writing because of what kind of brand, I guess, he was pursuing with Richard Bachman. And Blaze is not an exception. It's a pretty decent little story. Carrie. So Carrie, I'm going to give an A. This is his first book that he actually got published. And so he had already written books before this, and he was going to give up on it. And he originally threw he wrote on a typewriter. I think he threw it in the trash, and his wife picked it up and encouraged him to try to get it published. And he did. And he didn't feel confident about it because it's about a female, and it's, from the female perspective and stuff. And there's a lot of, it's a good book that provokes a lot of emotions about bullying and things like that. And then it basically just has a big chaotic ending and ends. But everything's being alluded to that ending. So he did write the book with the ending in mind. And so when it finally happens, it's, because you keep getting these bits from the future of this weird incident, and you finally get to see what happened with it. I don't really remember the movie. I've seen the movie, but I just don't remember it at all. So I think it's a good book though. And because it's, it went through the traditional, the trad pub editing things back in the 70s. I think it's a little tighter than a lot of his other books. Once he has a lot of success, the books start to become a bit bloated, and I think that harms some of his writing. So next one here is, if anybody's read Billy Summers or Bag of Bones, I'm pretty sure I've read Bag of Bones, I just don't remember it. So that probably means it's like a C, probably put it there. So The Dark Tower's in here, but we're going to get to it. It's in here. We're going to have to find it. All right, so Cell, I actually think Cell was an A. This is a weird take on a zombie novel, and one that I actually really like. So basically, everybody's cell phone rings. Here's the setup. Everybody's cell phone rings, and everybody who has a cell phone and picks it up turns into a psychotic zombie, like from the Crossed comics, which I haven't talked about on the channel, but basically same idea. Crossed did it first, really, but everyone becomes like a psychotic zombie and starts killing each other. And so it's this big event. I love the way he talks about, he writes these stories about society collapsing, and he usually does a really good job of portraying a collapse of society due to some kind of weird virus, like in The Stand, or something else. In this case, cell phones. Yeah, and it's kind of, cell phones make people zombies. This was before the era of smartphones, really, but there's obviously a good little metaphor there. But everybody picks up the cell phone, turns into a violent zombie, and starts killing other people. So it's actually pretty good. And then the survivors have to try to, the main character's trying to find his kids. And in general, I think it's a good little zombie apocalypse book with just a twist on what the zombies actually are. Rather than being undead, they're living. They just have been stupefied by this cell event, and he never bothers to explain it. And that's probably why it's good. He's like, anyone that could have tried to figure out what this was dead too quickly. I think that would, the setup, just, you need to have the setup exist and then have the story be the aftermath. I think that's really a pretty good thing, rather than what a lot of zombie movies now try to do, is try to explain where the zombies come from or something. Don't worry about that. I think the original Night of the Living Dead was like, radiation, caused zombies or something. Yeah, Tabitha saved Carrie from the trash. If not, his whole career would have launched when he was writing pulps and teaching defeated kids. Yeah, um, yeah. It's someone else's tier list, and Dark Tower's in here. It's just I think it's maybe alphabetized or something, which is fine. Um, Green Mile was originally a 6-part serial, and Shawshank Redemption was a novella. That's right. Stan was brilliant. I think that was pretty good. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I like Cell. I would actually recommend it if you want like a zombie, kind of a zombie book. It's pretty good. And it's got some real good scary stuff. Christine, this is one my dad liked, and I thought it was okay. It's about like an evil car, I think. Cujo, this is my dad bought me a first edition of this, and it was okay. It's about an evil dog. There you go. Yeah, Cell is a pretty good one. It has a little bit of a dip in the middle, but in generally it's pretty. I mean, I might even call it S. I think it's one of my favorite books I've read by him. I put it ahead of Carrie. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Cycle of the Werewolf, B. It's a little werewolf book. It's very short, but it's pretty good. So I think it's probably worth reading. Desperation, I have not read. So if you've read, I'm going to put these in the not read category. So if you've read them, you tell me. Like, I haven't read Different Seasons. Dr. Sleep. I don't think I read that one either. I stopped reading most Stephen King books a couple years ago. Dolores Claiborne. I don't think I read. Dreamcatcher is good. Dreamcatcher's pretty good, but it tends to suffer from some of the, the kind of the mid book slump. But it's probably an okay read. Yeah, Cujo, it's riding by the seat of the pants and then it ends. Someone says Desperation is kind of bad, so we're gonna put it in D. He wrote great characters in Christine, believable relation between Annie and his jock friend. Yeah, I thought it was good. It's one of my dad's. It's like my dad's favorite. Somebody says the JFK one is very good, so I'm gonna put it up in A. D for Desperation. Yeah, I like Cycle of the Werewolf. There's not a lot to it, but it's good for what it is, I think. I think it's pretty good for what it is. What keeps Carrie from S tier? I don't know. I just don't feel like it's great. It's a good story. It's well executed. I don't know. It's just not one of my favorites. It does a good job with everything it does, though. Mostly it's that like you're kind of waiting a long time for the ending, and it's pretty ham-fisted with like its Christian characters. It has these like overbearing Christian parents that like the girl's surprised when she gets a period because her parents have never told her about how bodies work. So it's again, he has these caricatures. Like all the characters tend to be these really strong caricatures about how he feels about Christians being a baby boomer and being told that Christian's bad. Or some projection of maybe his traumatic childhood. Doom McKee, this one is this is one of his later books, but I think it's an A. This is about a guy who gets a brain injury, and I'm not gonna go too much further than that, but like his life basically falls apart because of this brain injury. Like he gets a divorce, and basically ends up in this thriller story. It's pretty good. It's a B or an A. I'm gonna put it in a B because I think again it's a little too long. There's a little too much there. Could have used a little bit of cutting down to make it a little tighter. Elevation, I have not read. So again, if you've read any of these, just let me know, and then we'll just put it in there. End of Watch, I haven't read. Now, Everything's Eventual is a story collection, and I think it's actually one of his better story collections. It has some really good stories in it. It's got some stories related to Dark Tower, the Men in Yellow Coats, or I'm trying to remember what it's called. In general, it's a good collection of stories. A lot of variety there. I think Stephen King writes really good short stories. Where the more limited he makes himself in his, I think this one also has the the one with where the kid meets the devil while he's fishing. He actually won an award for it. It's a great little aphorism, I feel like. Great little scene. But when he's limited on what he can do, he tends to focus a lot more, and it's just a more potent execution of his prose. He does a better job, I think, with short stories. Finders Keepers, I haven't read. So if you've read it, tell me where it is. Firestarter, I did not read, actually. I have it, but I haven't read it. 4 Past Midnight. I'm trying to remember what's in this one. I'm actually going to Google it. Because I have it. I'm trying to remember which ones are in it. Okay. This one has Secret Window, Secret Garden, which is awesome. Yeah, I think it's 4 little novellas. And I was trying to remember which ones are in it. And it's pretty good. So, in general, I think all 4 of them are in there good. And again, because it's a little more limited on the length, they're all pretty good reads. Nightmares and Dreamscapes, lots of variety there. Creepy short stories. I agree. I think that one's pretty good as well. From a Buick 8, I'll put that as a B. I don't remember a whole lot of this one because I read it like right when it came out. I have the hardback somewhere. But I remember thinking it was okay at the time. So it's probably been 20 years or however long it's been since that came out that I read it. Full Dark, No Stars. I have not read that. And I have not read Gerald's Game. So if you've read either of those, let me know. Yeah. Library Policeman. That's a good one, yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. The Sundog. Oh, that's the one with the camera. Yeah, that's a good one too. Yeah, I love. See, Stephen King comes up with these great ideas, and I think in the shorter formats, he's able to really execute them well, and you get a good dose of what's scary there, and then you can get out of this. So, that one I haven't read. Gwendy's Button Box. Let's see here. Hearts in Atlantis. Another good collection. This one, maybe this one has the Men in Yellow Coats one. I'm trying to remember which one has which. This one I think has the Men in Yellow Coats. That's Hearts in Atlantis. So it's a good collection. Again, what's kind of cool about a Stephen King collection too is if you go through it and there's a story you don't really like, there's going to be others that you probably do like. You can always skip. You know. If It Bleeds, I haven't read. If It Bleeds, we can kill it. Insomnia. So Insomnia I actually think is, man, I think it's one of his best books. So it might be S tier. Other people hate it, I found out. Other people hate Insomnia. So here's a setup for Insomnia. I think what they wanted is they wanted some kind of draw into the Dark Tower that's not really there. This guy can't sleep, and it makes him see auras around people, and he thinks he's going insane, but it basically gives him second sight because he can't sleep. And so I like it because, you know, I tend to have periodic, like very acute insomnia where I won't be able to sleep for like a couple days. And you start to, like, your mind stops working if you haven't slept. Like, you stop being able to correctly filter and perceive reality. And so took that and ran with it in a book. And I think it actually works really good. So I actually think it's one of his best books. It's not too long. It's full of variety. It's full of scary crap. It's full of weird things, and it's unsettling. And then it has a real ending that kind of pulls everything together. It is an F. Other people say It is his best book. I think It is probably the worst Stephen King book I've ever read. And I'll tell you why. So it's bad on multiple levels. It is way too long. It's 1,000 pages. I think the word count is something like 400 and something thousand words. And the story, there's way more book than there is story. And part of it is that he had a novel idea for telling the story where it's the same story told in 2 different times. when the characters are kids, and when the characters are adults. But they're doing basically the same thing. So it like doubles the length of the book, but doesn't really add any kind of story tension. Moreover, when you know they're adults, it kind of sucks the story tension out of the things when they're kids. There's so many superfluous scenes. Some of them are effective, some of them are not. You have, I think, this effective relationship between, I'm trying to remember the name of the bully, but I don't remember him. This bully who, like, at one point is trying to carve his name into the kid's stomach, and none of the parents believe him. And so there's a really good feeling of like this childhood isolation, which Stephen King is very good at. But the book suffers from such technical problems and is so poorly edited. It can get like borderline unreadable for me. And then, of course, you have the child orgy scene. There's this part at the end. I don't know if they've ever put this in the movie, but all the kids have an orgy together. This is actually in the book. So it's one of these things where it's like a disturbing and strange moment. And when you're reading it, you're like, this isn't the kind of disturbing I signed on for in a horror book, is to have the child protagonists have an orgy together. It's very bizarre. And so, yes, Dreamcatcher does kind of fall off at the end. But it's pretty effective, I think, prior to that. I probably wouldn't put it at the top of B, though. It's probably down here. Yeah, it's a really, really creepy scene. And it really takes you out of the book, because it's not even explained. Like, they're trying to hold on to their childhood by having sex. I don't know what he's trying to suggest there. But honestly, like, the book is, for me, it's borderline. It's kind of like those book 8, book 9 in Wheel of Time. Like, it's just long, and it feels long. Whereas The Stand, which we'll get to, is long but doesn't feel long, because it's really 3 books kind of plopped into one. I haven't read this, or Just After Sunset. I haven't read that one either. Lisey's Story. I never read that one. Misery. I think the movie's better than the book for Misery, but the book's good. Yeah, I don't think you could put the orgy scene in there. It would just like break the movie. Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely, I mean, it's at least a D. I think the parts that are effective might make it a D. But in general, it's an F. Like, as a whole product, I think it's the worst book I've read by him, possibly. Mr. Mercedes, I never got around to reading that one. Misery's about this novelist, like, imprisoned by a crazed fan. Needful Things. I read it and I don't remember it, so I'm not sure where to put it. Night Shift. Night Shift, if you're going to read one collection of Stephen King stories, Night Shift is probably the collection to read. It has most of the stories that were made into horror adaptations in the 80s. So like Children of the Corn is in there. There's even something I think that is kind of an allusion to The Stand, like another version, another world of The Stand. So that's definitely, if you're going to pick one collection of Stephen King to read, Night Shift is definitely it. There's one with like, I mean, there's this, he uses the descent into madness, like kind of pulled from H.P. Lovecraft. There's a bunch of stories that are very inspired by H.P. Lovecraft. Let me look up the names of them. So if you like H.P. Lovecraft, you're probably going to like, that one. Let me see what stories are in it. So Jerusalem's Lot. This one, even though it's Salem's Lot, is also in Jerusalem's Lot. This is just straight up Lovecraft. Basically, a guy goes back to this ancient, decrepit church full of worm worshippers. It's just a ripoff of Lovecraft. I mean, it is. It's basically just Lovecraft. Graveyard Shift. This is another descent into madness where they're cleaning out like these basements and sub-basements full of mutant things. Like each time they go down, things get crazier. It's just a really good, effective short story. There's not really any... It's not that believable, but it's good. Night Surf, that's the one where it's kind of like The Stand. Basically, everybody's dead from a virus. There's a whole bunch of them in here. One for the Road. Lawnmower Man. Yeah. So if you're going to pick one, Gray Matter, that one's good. Does this one have? Yeah, Children of the Corn. So yeah, if you're going to pick one, Night Shift is definitely it. Night Shift is really good. In fact, I'll put it over here. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, the Rat Exterminators and the Giant Bats. That's Graveyard Shift. It's good. Good, strong descent into madness. And it gets Insomnia has one of his best executions of Descent into Madness, where he literally starts seeing like strings floating off of people's heads that like indicate their life force and things like that. Now, Needful Things, I don't remember it, so I'm putting it down there. Nightmares and Dreamscapes, again, another good collection. Notice his short story collections tend to be pretty good. Pet Sematary. I don't know. It's a really good... I feel like it's just very effective horror, Pet Sematary. It's good. Basic setup is you can bring things back to life by burying them in an Indian cemetery. It's just good classic horror. But when something comes back, it's not the same as it was. The movie of it's pretty good too. I don't remember Rage or Revival. Roadwork, I did not read, so if you've read any of these, let me know and I'll put them up there. Rose Matter, I don't think I read that. Salem's Lot, solid B. The problem with Salem's Lot, let me put that down there. Yeah, because this does have like not the best ending. The problems with Salem's Lot is again the ending. So it's a good little vampire story. The book's really kicking into gear, and then it just kind of ends. Like they run away from town. That's the ending. Sorry for the spoilers. So yeah, Salem's Lot. It's okay. It's a good vampire book without really a good ending, because he obviously didn't want to end it the way most vampire stories end, which is like you kill the head vampire and everything goes back to normal. Instead, they have to run away. It's an unexpected ending, so maybe in that way it's like a good ending, but I don't know. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the fact that it's just classic vampires. Skeleton Crew, I don't think I read that one. I have it. I don't read it. And I didn't read this one, so somebody read, was it Sleeping Beauties? Okay, so now we're going to get into some of the Dark Tower books. Song of Susanna is a C. This is Dark Tower number 6. I remember being pretty disappointed with it when I read it. It feels like a mid-trilogy book. So the way to look at Dark Tower is book 1 is its own thing. Book 2 and 3 go together. Book 4 is a prequel in the middle of things. And then book 5, 6, 7 are a trilogy. And then Wind in the Keyhole is an integral where he's telling a story. It doesn't really fit into the continuum. You can read that, put that one somewhere else in the series. You could read that as an integral. So I don't know if it's book like 3.5 or something like that. Anyway, Song of Susanna, it feels like a mid-trilogy book. Things like the characters are moving, things are happening, but there's not really like a firm beginning to the book or a firm ending. It feels very transitory. It's got good scenes in it, I feel like. It's about Susanna's body being, like her baby being stolen out of her body, and it's weird. So it's got a lot of weird stuff in it. It's okay. It's average. What's this one? Bizarre Bad Dreams. I haven't read that one. Okay. Why is it an F? It's technically bad. So I'm not going to repeat myself, but it's technically very bad. It's way too long. It's poorly executed with what it does, full of superfluous scenes, full of child orgies and weird things like that take you out of the book. I don't think I read this one. Dark Half. I want to say I read it, but I don't remember it, so it's probably like a C. Dark Tower. This one is D. This is book 7. It's either D or F. Probably D. I'm going to put it at D-, because I don't know. It's bad. Basically, all the things he set up, he lets you down on. So it's like the biggest book letdown in the history of literature. It's not terribly executed. Maybe it's saved by like the Michael Whelan pictures. There's some great Michael Whelan paintings in it. That's why Michael Whelan makes it a D- instead of an F. It's definitely the worst book of the Dark Tower series by far. It has a terrible ending. There's some extremely cringe things where he starts bringing these cringe things in book 5 with these like Harry Potter references. It's really bad. So it's really long for what's in there. You have this setup in book 6 of this spider monster baby of Roland called Mordred. Is this going to kill Roland? He dies of diarrhea. I'm just giving you spoilers. Sorry. There's no reason that you should not have spoilers for this because otherwise you'll just be angry. He dies of diarrhea randomly. But before he does that, he kills Flag. He kills the man in black, the person who Roland was supposed to have a showdown with from the beginning of book 1. So that's a major letdown. So he kills Flag. Roland doesn't ever have to face Flag. He gets to the Dark Tower. There's the Crimson King there. One of the characters from Insomnia is basically isekai'd into the Dark Tower world where he literally draws the solution to the problem. And then when Roland goes into the Dark Tower, he has to repeat his entire life again. And he's been doing that for 1,000 years. And that's the ending. It's kind of cool that it's like, oh, he has to repeat time. Yeah. It's trapped in a time loop. It's like Final Fantasy did this. But man, it's a huge letdown looking back on it. Let's see what we have here. Dead Zone. Put it up there. Drawing of the 3. Okay, here's another Dark Tower book. This one I would say is a C-. I almost quit the series with this book. It was so cringy. You have basically Roland goes through these doors to pull people in, to isekai people into his world from our world. One of them is a heroin addict. That part of the book's actually pretty cool. The other one is this really cringy caricature of a black woman. So her name's Susanna. She's in a wheelchair, and she calls everyone honky and stuff. It's just I don't know, literary blackface. I don't know what to call it. It's a really bizarre caricature of a black character. The black character is very racist against white people, which kind of works. And she's also insane and has split personality. So it kind of works, but there's a lot of cringe there. And then like the third person, I like the ending of it actually. So maybe it's actually, the ending of it is that he doesn't like the third guy he's supposed to draw. And so he kills him. And I was like, yes. All right, I'm going to put you at C+ for that ending. But yeah, it's very cringy. What we wanted, we already pulled a character in from our world in the first book, but we didn't really want to pause and do more of that. But he ends up pulling Jake in. So I guess it works. Maybe it's B-. I'm going to put it B-. It's B-. It's super cringy, but thinking about it on a technical level, it does work. So it actually does do a good job. Now, Eyes of the Dragon. This one is really hated by fantasy fans, but I think is actually a good book. Now, it's basically told like a fairy tale, but it's really for adults. And there's some weird scenes in it that are like, why do you include this? Like the fact that this king has to basically take a medicine for erectile dysfunction. Anyway, it's good though. It has a really good plot, really good characters. It's very reminiscent of like a classic fantasy or fairy tale story, but with some weird Stephen King touches that I don't know if they make it better or worse, but in general, I think it's a good book. I think it's actually one of his better books. Being truthful about it. There's some things that like if I were the editor, I'd be like, dude, you probably need to cut this. So maybe it's actually, it's somewhere in this category, somewhere in the middle. It's pretty good. Let's see here. The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon. This is one that I would put... Actually, I'm going to put it at an A. It's a good book. So, Basically, it's a girl gets lost in the wilderness and is imagining this horrible monster chasing her, and is also thinking of this pitcher she's a big fan of named Tom Gordon. And so all that kind of works together to create this descent into madness where you don't really know what the monster is until towards the very end. And then you kind of have a return to reality where it's like you realize that your imagination is making horrors that are still dangerous but aren't quite as horrible as maybe you think. I remember seeing Lady at the Thrift Store as having an awkward disclaimer about that flaccid penis scene regarding letting her 12-year-old daughter read it. Yeah. I remember Roland asked Eddie if they were all like that. Yeah. What will I find when the Dark Tower appears? Will it be the end or just a new quest after all? Yeah, I remember that song. Kind of interesting. All right, let's keep going. The Green Mile. I think it's a good book. I thought I read it as part of something else, but I think it was a serial originally. Yeah, Jared's right. I think this one was the serial, and the other one, Shawshank Redemption, was the novella. Okay, so this one's good. You guys have probably seen the movie. The book's very similar. It's got some differences, but it's pretty tight. I think maybe. I don't know. I think, again, because of the shorter length, I think it's a pretty tight book and tells its story pretty well. So this is the first one, Gunslinger. This one is a S tier book. So the Gunslinger has the best moods and settings that Stephen King has ever written. And it's one of the first books he wrote, if not like the first book he wrote. And so it has a lot of energy to it that young writers excel at, which is writing about things that they imagine in very specific and often unexplained ways. It sets up the series. It asks a lot of questions that you want answered. It does an amazing job at that. You end up really liking this character Roland and seeing where he goes. There's a really tough choice that Roland has to make. He does things which are kind of, morally difficult choices, and then I think that makes you identify more with what he's doing. It makes for a really kind of brutal fantasy story, and it's fairly short and tight and well written. Now the question here is whether you want to read the original version or the revised edition. The revised edition is about 10,000 words longer. Having read both, I think the revised edition is just a little bit better. It puts things more in line with the rest of the series. But if you were just to read the first book on its own, the original version, I don't think you'd really miss that much. There's a real energy to the original version of The Gunslinger that it's hard to duplicate. It's hard to quite quantify it, but it's a very good book. It's my favorite Stephen King book by far. Yeah, without that little part, The Eyes of the Dragon's a lot like The Hobbit in tone. Yeah. I saw the Dark Tower movie and I reviewed it. So that review's on the channel. Me and Matt, my brother-in-law, saw it, who's also an author. I didn't see Institute, or I didn't read Institute. The Long Walk. I don't think I read that one. Or The Outsider. The Regulators. I think this one's another solid B. It's a good book. Another Richard Bachman kind of thriller, horror thriller. The Running Man. So the book The Running Man is a B. That's a solid B. It's good. It's, if you guys have seen the movie, it's pretty different from the movie in that the guy's he's running all over the country, right? Not in like some kind of arena. But the movie is like way better than the book. The movie, they went crazy with the movie. And again, it just kind of has an ending that ends. But it's not bad. I think it's actually a good book, so I enjoyed it. The Shining, I think, is definitely solid A, if not maybe S. It has a really excellent descent into madness. Really excellent descent into madness. It's one of the first books I read by him. And and it's pretty scary. It keeps getting scarier and scarier, and it does a lot of the scariness just through this feeling of being unsettled. You're constantly unsettled about what's going on in this haunted hotel. I like the I think I like the book better than the movie. The Stanley Kubrick movie. I know they made maybe another movie. I didn't watch it. The Stanley Kubrick movie, though, I like. I think it has some great moods to it. But in the movie, the main character is like already crazy, and in the book, it's really the hotel that makes him crazy. He does descend into madness. So S, it's hard to know where to put The Stand. S or A? What do you guys think? Man in Black fled across the desert and the gunslinger followed. One of the best book openings, his best book opening, one of the best book openings of all time. I'm going to put it as an S, maybe S minus. So The Stand is excellent. And again, you have two versions. You have an expanded version and you have the original version. And I'm not sure which one is better. The expanded version really is as long as Lord of the Rings and was intended to be like 3 books. So it's 3 books long. And they made him cut, I think, 100,000 words out of it. Here's what The Stand does exceptionally well. Is it portrays the downfall of society due to a pandemic really well. And it is very unsettling and very good at that. The only flaw, and maybe this will knock it down to A, I do think it's worth reading. The only flaw, and he had massive writer's block, once all the characters got put into their various places, he ended up with writer's block. So all the bad guys were in Vegas and all the good guys were in this other town in Colorado, I think. And he's like, I don't know, the story tension evaporated. So he went back and when we get to that point of rest, he introduces another big conflict and then the characters have to act. But what happens at the end is that, like, what the character set out to do doesn't end up resolving the conflict. The conflict resolves basically due to what we might think of as like some kind of random event. It makes sense, though, and it's a big surprise. So it has kind of a shock ending where the end happens for reasons that you don't think of. At the same time, though, that's not that satisfying. You know, it's a good surprise ending, I guess, but it kind of nullifies the setup that happens in the 3rd book. So I don't know. I still think it's really good, though. Absolutely, my attention never waned. There's never even a scene. There's all these scenes that have nothing to do with the story where it's like no big loss. Like somebody accidentally kills themselves with a 45 because they don't know how to use it, right? They didn't get killed by the virus. They got killed because they don't know, by their own stupidity. No big loss, no big loss for humanity. He has scenes like that. These little intricals that are these little interlude scenes. They're all really good because they're so interesting in and of themselves and help paint the world in such an acute way. It ends up working. So yeah, I'm going to put that one as an S. Let's see what we have here. The Talisman. This one's S as well. This is written with Peter Straub. And this is basically like a little epic fantasy story where you're moving between our world and a world that's like a fantasy reflection of that world, trying to save this kid's mom. And I don't know, it's a quest. It's like a classic fantasy story, but kind of told in with isekai elements, or I hate to use isekai because that's another thing, but like portal elements, like you're switching between worlds. In general, I think it's really, really well executed. It's one of the best books I've written by him. Again, written with Peter Straub. The sequel, Black House, is just not as good because it's more like a horror book. And this one really is like a fantasy book with horror elements. It's very good. So I would actually recommend that one. I think that's an S tier book. You meet lots of cool characters on the way. You have a good little fantasy world that you think is interesting. It's like physically smaller than our world, which has some weird effects. Yeah, and just in general, I think it's very good. The Tommyknockers. This is the one with the aliens. I don't know where to put this one. Maybe C. Somewhere in C. It's okay. These people get aliens, and like the aliens are doing weird things to them. It's been so long since I read it. I think there was a movie with Joe Mantegna in it, but I don't really remember the movie. Anyway, it's a good little alien story. It's got some really good horror elements. Again, if you kind of like Pet Sematary or something where you have a slow descent into things getting crazier, then I think it does it pretty good. Wastelands. This is another Dark Tower book. I think it's an A. I think this is one of the, besides Gunslinger, it's probably the best Dark Tower book. It's maybe a little on the long side, but it really, the plot has a pretty frantic pace, despite the fact that it's mostly located in this one ancient big city with these two factions fighting each other, and they all have like radiation sickness and stuff. And then they escape on a train. So in general, it's pretty good, and I like the ending to it. I think it really has a nice ending. So it's a good ending to the original trilogy of the Gunslinger, Drawing of the Three, and the Wastelands. So I like it. I think it's good. And I think it's one of the reasons I like it is that it takes place in Midworld. It takes place in the world of the Gunslinger, which is what is interesting rather than our world. And I think that's one of the reasons I didn't like Drawing of the Three all that much, was simply that it takes place so much in our world. That's not what's interesting. What's interesting is Roland's world. And so the Wasteland takes place entirely in that, which I think is very good. And I think the train, the crazy AIs, there's lots of good little sci-fi and horror elements in it. And I think it's generally a very good book. Let's keep going. The Wind Through the Keyhole. This one's good. It's not necessary, though. I think I'm trying to remember where it takes place. It doesn't take place between books, but it's like another story that Roland's telling about his world, but he's telling it in between books. So it's a good little one-off. You can read it on its own. I'm actually gonna pull it up here. Let me see. It's somewhere. I mean, I don't know. It's somewhere in like before book 3, I think, or somewhere around book 3 is when he's telling the story. Yeah, and it's good. You know, I think it's pretty good. I think it's probably like B+, B. It's pretty good. I enjoyed it. But I think because I read it after, it came out after Dark Tower 7, and Dark Tower 7 was such a letdown, it's hard to just be like, oh, I like this one. Thinner. Another classic horror story. You get cursed, and the curse is you just keep getting thinner until you're dead. So I like stories with curses. I think they have a very unsettling tone to them. Under the Dome, I haven't read. I think they made a TV series or something out of it. I don't know. What's this one? Wizard and Glass. I don't know. D? C. I'm going to make it a C. It's a C. It's too long. It takes way too long to execute the plot. It's a prequel in the middle of a series. It's not bad. Actually, I'm going to put it as a... I don't know. I'm going to put it as B-. It does the story pretty well. It just takes a long time to get to its conclusion. It's too long for the amount of story that's in it. If it had cut a solid like 50,000 words out of it, it probably would have been good. But it just takes way too long to get to the conclusion. So for that reason, I think it's more on the B- side. But you get a lot of Roland's World, good characters, good conflict. You know, in general, it's pretty good. I will say that the 14-year-olds don't act like 14-year-olds. So I don't know. It's somewhere between B and C. Wolves of the Kala. It's another B- one. It has its own internal plot. They're really trying to save this town from these guys who dress like wolves to come steal their children. But then they're throwing, but it gets out of the A category because of the Sneetches, because they're like the Harry Potter references. I'm like, these are stupid. Don't put these in here. So yeah, I don't know. It's higher. It's higher than Wizard and Glass. Wizard and Glass has like good flavor, but it's too long. I don't know. Maybe it's an A. You know, I'm gonna put it an A. It's pretty good. It's an A minus. It's pretty good at what it does. I'm going to put it an A. All right, that's all the books that are on here. There's some others that aren't on here, like Riding the Bullet, which was on audiobook only, and I think only later published as a book. It's basically a short story or a novella about a guy hitching a ride with like a guy who's dead, who, you know, and it's just a good little horror story. That one's not on here. I'm sure there's some that are on, you know, I haven't seen. So anyway, if there's anybody who wants to put any of these that I haven't really read on this tier list, they can. I've read a lot of Stephen King books, I realize, and a lot of them I don't really remember, which kind of says something about some of the stories, that they're just, some of the stories just kind of are kind of meh, you know. So I don't know how else to put it. Moorcock or Dean... Michael Moorcock is probably what I would do. I haven't read enough Dean Koontz. I've only read a little bit of him. Dark Tower goes from S tier to like F at the end. Are we gonna? It's D minus because of Michael Whalen. Otherwise, it's an F. If you get the paperback, it's F. If you get the hardback, it's D because there's cool pictures. Where would I place the entire Dark Tower series? I'd make it a C. Maybe a B. It has one of the best openings. It has good books with great flavor. And then it's got a really crappy ending that takes way too long to get there and just lets you down. So I don't know. It's not my favorite fantasy series, but it got me really excited to read the series. Like, that's how good this book was. It's like, man, I can't wait to read this fantasy series. And I was like, man, this is going to be a great fantasy series because it's got like these horror elements. And then it just, by the time, you know, I read the first 4 before Wolves of the Kala came out. I was so hyped for this book because I'm like, yes, we're finally going to be moving towards the Dark Tower. This is after he got hit by a car, you know, he's like, I got to finish this series off. And then we got to book 7. I was like, it sucks. Boy, I spent a whole hour talking about Stephen King books. All right, so there's your tier list for what I think, and anybody's welcome to throw what they want in there. You know. So anyway, there's that. Let's go ahead. Let's maybe play some games, and we'll keep chatting about whatever else you guys want to. He's written a lot of books, man. You know, and here's the thing: people are like, I hate Stephen King. I love Stephen King. When you put out a crap ton of books, like I'm looking at it, some of them are going to be not great. A lot of them are very average. There's things that he's very good at and things that I feel like he's not good at. But he's written some really good books in there. And that's all I can really say. I think he's a talented writer. I really do. But, you know, some of the things of his ideological opinions get kind of pushed into the book, you know, and they get a little bit obtuse sometimes. They're in Insomnia, but kind of in a way that you don't mind, where like the main character is basically a Democrat, and that's just like part of the story, but it's not really like, that doesn't really matter. It's just kind of thrown in there that people kind of get along even though they don't agree in this town, you know, have ideological agreement. Which that's kind of the way things used to be. People used to get along with each other even though they weren't voting for the same party. And I feel like with millennials, that's not the case. Like, if you vote Republican, you should be sent to the gas chambers. And if you don't vote Republican, it's like you should be cast out of the country is mostly how people view it. There's a lot of ideological friction these days. All right, let's move into some games. I'm going to pull it up real quick. And where were we? Adrenaline. All right. I think we're at the next little spot we need to be at here. Get it set up here. Okay. All right. Okay, we're in a... This is actually one of the more annoying town themes, by the way. I think we're where we need to be. The monsters here are kind of kicking my butt, though. I think we're supposed to go up into a waterfall or something. I'm gonna ask in town again. I haven't played in a couple days. I'm going on vacation next week, by the way. So I'm probably, because I'm going on vacation, I'll probably get to play a lot more. I've been so busy here trying to get stuff ready for June and July. Hits us with his tail. Mithril Dragon. Scott Eastwood should have been cast as Roland in the Dark Tower movies. Anyone, you know, I don't know, like, what they were thinking with Idris Elba. It's not just that he's black. He has all the wrong energy. You know, Roland's an explicitly white character. This is not a case of, like, it doesn't matter. He's supposed to look like Clint Eastwood. Fans wanted him to look like Clint Eastwood. Got a text message. Nope. Let's do some magic here. I think lightning kills that guy. Yeah, I think this guy's just like, will hit 0. No, not 0. He's not immune. Let's do Bolt again. What happened to Final Fantasy? Isn't it here? Am I not playing it right now? Yeah, no respect for the source material. And Stephen King was like, oh, there have been many Rolands and stuff. He didn't want to say, like, no, this isn't like my character at all. Oh, Bezos Lord of the Rings is going to be bad. I'm probably going to do content on it, even though I'm like, don't give attention to people who hate money to people who hate you, because I'm like, it's such a good marketing opportunity. You know, if we all talk about it and promote better books, it is an opportunity. But you don't want to hit your start of that. You don't want to be like one of these Star Wars tubers that they don't have any work besides talking about Star Wars. You know what I mean? So use it as a marketing opportunity. You're probably okay. Yeah, multiple characters say he looks like Clint Eastwood. But, I mean, Idris Elba also just has the wrong energy. Like, the energy is just not there. Ouch. Oh boy, these guys are like really hard to hit. He's only hitting for 16. I think we're gonna have to run. It's mini dragons. I got a summon out of the forest, but I think maybe I'm a little too low level here. Let's go in here. We'll stay at the end again. And then we'll see what else we can find on our airship. Oh, the Tolkien Society. How quickly, I mean, it's like they were waiting for Christopher Tolkien to die so they could destroy the legacy of Tolkien. Yeah, this is Final Fantasy V. This is the PS1 version, which you can still get, I think, for the Vita. It's PS1 Classics. I'm playing it on my PlayStation Vita. So I'll probably have some time to play it over the next week. Maybe the waterfall. I don't know if we need to go somewhere else here. We just came from there. We went through the desert and went over here. Uh-oh! What's going on down there? Look at the town! Oh no, the town is... What's happening? Whoa! What happened? Well, I don't think there's anything to find here. One of those Amazon cry booths. I'll watch it for you. You know it's gonna be bad. Like, you know it's gonna be just abysmal. That hurt. Final Fantasy VI is really good. I think it's one of the best in the series. I love the aesthetics of Final Fantasy VI. It just looks awesome. It's like peak. This is what SNES graphics were supposed to be. It's like peak SNES graphics. Alright. Maybe we can stop by this little library. I don't know where we need to go. Maybe back up here. Where can you get a couple pages check for grammar? You can hire people to do that. It's always like more expensive than what it's worth. If you have somebody you can trust to proofread it, do that. I generally don't, so I end up with some typos. You can use something like Grammarly, but it's not gonna catch everything. It'll catch some things. You know. All right. Let's keep looking around here. Okay, there's another asteroid. That's that early town. The Pirate Cave, which you can go back into and get some stuff. Already got some stuff from them. The castle. Other castle. There's anything else. I think there's something in this forest right here. I think if I land here, I think there might be another summon right here. I don't remember. You can find a couple summons like out in the world. I love Final Fantasy IX too. It's got I love the art style too. Okay, these guys are super low level. They're not going to do anything to us. Zero. Yeah, Final Fantasy IX's art style, it just looked great back in the day. It looks great on the PS1. I'm going to try to play it on the PC with the Meguri mod, which will still let me cross-save with Android, and I have the Android version, so I could like progress it a little bit here and there if I want to. Boy, my allergies are really getting to me today. I wonder how I get to this town. Oh, I think you can only get to this one with the black chocobo. Apparently I can get in here, though. It's the Wind Shrine. Are these guys still hanging out here? Alright. I'm not sure where I'm supposed to go next. I'm just going to explore around. I'm actually playing Final Fantasy XII right now. It's really hard to get used to this combat system. I love it. Yeah, you have to buy the spells, and then you have to unlock them on your license board. It's kind of determining what is available to you and what's not available to you. If I can, do I need to go get the black chocobo to progress? I'm not sure. Let's see, been here. Are you going to play the new Final Fantasy VII Intergrade DLC? I hadn't planned on it. Should I? Like, I'm not into DLC in general. In general, I avoid DLC if I can avoid it. Maybe we need a black chocobo. There's our black chocobo friend. He's dancing for us. See what's in here. Rick's Village. Jojo, is that you? Hey everybody, Jojo's back. Oh. Hey, it's Jojo. You've been gone a long time. This is your hometown. Oh. Thanks for telling me it's my hometown. Wait a minute, Jojo, you're all grown up. So Drogon died of an illness, but Jojo, you hang in there and be strong. Jojo, it's me. Let's hang out. It'll be just like old times. Ready? Okay. Okay. He's on the roof. Oh, what's going on? Oh no, he's falling off the roof. Sob. That's what old times were, huh? Still afraid of heights? I used to be so unassuming. Now I'm going to be a scholar. See if there's any good weapons in the hometown. You get to play as Yuffie. Ooh. Your father and I went way back, so for you, everything's on sale. Oh, he sells ethers. Oh, we gotta buy some. What are your thoughts on Wagner's Ring Cycle? I like it, but I haven't listened to it in a while. Good music. I think it's worth somebody watching it. If you can, watch it. So shurikens are for throw. Fire skill, water skill, lightning skill. Oh, okay. Might as well get a couple of these to throw if we need. Can use magic sword. I don't know what that'll do, but let's buy it. I mean, that lowers the power, but I don't know. Level 3 ninja. We really want to max out ninja. It's really powerful. So we're gonna keep ninja. I kind of want to turn JoJo into a ninja. I think like fire double fire sword is going to be pretty strong. It's pretty strong already. Oh, the Discord. I don't even know if I can link it. I might. Let me see if I can pull it up. By Green Beret or Ninja Suit. I think I have these. Let's see. If I can get a blanket. All right, let's see if this link works. There you go. All right. Okay. Boom. I think I wanted to see if I had the ninja suit yet before I drop like all my gold. You gotta try more of Dean Kootz's books, especially the Odd Thomas series. Everyone wants me to read everybody's favorite books. I don't have time to read every book on planet Earth, just so you know. Right? Like, my schedule's pretty freaking stacked up with zero time as it is. Like, one of the reasons I've been doing shorter content is I don't have time to do long content right now. I have very, very, very little free time. So it's like reading is something I specifically make time for. And unless I have a specific reason to read a book right now, I don't usually read it. It's nothing against some favorite book you want me to read. I don't have time. You used to live in this house, but you have a lot of memories here. Take your time around and look. Oh, there's something on the table. What is it? Oh, here's a memory. Stupid hearing aid. You asleep? Are you leaving again so soon, dear? No. I haven't had a seizure for some time now. I hope we can live together as a family forever. I know, but get some sleep. You need the rest. I will, but I have one more job to do before that. You're leaving again, aren't you? You were awake, huh? Going to get more bad guys? That's what I do. Please, take me too. No, you stay with your mother. Don't tell her where I went. Yeah, you can find productions of Wagner's stuff on YouTube. You know, you can find great productions of Orpheus on YouTube, and it's like people are gonna watch a Marvel movie they hate instead of watching something that is so time filtered it will always be performed, like Orpheus. Stella! Stella! What was that? Streetcar Named Desire? Or was that Cat on a Hot Tin Roof? I think that was Streetcar Named Desire. Can't sleep in my old bed. I like how there's like a house with one bed in it. Oh, a grave. Stella rests here. My mom. The 1990 Met production of The Ring Cycle is great. The New York one. Might have had a friend in that one. Might have had a friend who performed in that one. He sang bass for them for like 10 years. Let's see if there's any magic we don't have. You have it already. Oh, Asuna. I already have it. A Streetcar Named Desire. It's the Marlon Brando movie. There's a movie of it with Marlon Brando that's actually pretty well liked. I think it's pretty good. I haven't seen it in years and years, though. I think I watched it in drama class in high school. We're like, Tennessee Williams. Is there a secret here? Nope. Guess not. Pond. What's the old lady have to say? Alright, I think I've talked to everybody. I don't think there's anything else here. A bard is living in your old house. Maybe he'll teach us a song or something. Not that I even used... I'm not even going to use the bard class, so I don't know why I'm even bothering. So is there anything in here? There's a bar. No one in here, though. It seems like a pretty empty little village here. I like that music. Pity there's not more music like that in the game. I think we already went to this wind shrine. Right? I think we did. Black Chocobo. Let's go back to the airship. Not sure where I need to go now. So I might look it up. No, it doesn't ring a bell for me. I don't remember a lot of those names. Monsters! Look, like a two-headed basilisk thing. A double lizard. A double lizard. Sorry. Like, look up the cast. It's actually quite difficult to do the entire cycle because it's 3 full operas. And I think this is it. Shanken Levine's Nibelungring, yeah. Looks pretty good. I don't think I've seen this one. Good, really good production though. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Looks like you can rent it, get it on DVD. I just get the DVD because I think it was probably shot in 480p. Is it 4 or 3? I thought it was 3. Am I wrong? No, I think I have at least seen part of this one. Because I recognize the sets. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. Bam. There we go. Yeah, I'm not sure where we need to go next. Let's look around. Follow this land. Oh, there's a little cave here. Can I land in it? Let's check this out. Jackhole Cave. Let's see if we get completely owned here. Find out. A skull eater. Oh yeah. Boy, that squirrel ate our skull. When you stay at the inn, it does res you. Yes, I know. The One Ring.net referred to Tolkien as being woke. That's the whole thing. I've seen it. You know, basically, Christopher Tolkien was all that was keeping the satanic mob from unraveling the legacy of J.R.R. Tolkien. Which is why I've been buying a lot of the physical versions of the books, because I feel like they're going to be harder to find, or they're going to end up in some sort of edited or commentary version My grandpa was an adventurer, and he said something sleeps under the Crescent Island. Item shop. These guys do not sell the ethers. Yeah. The Death Cult. That's what I call them. This is the bar where all the adventurers look for their treasure of North Mountain, laying out. Caves up north are full of traps left by an ancient people. Knock it off, that's dangerous. Wait patiently on the road with the skull switches and you'll see the truth. Climb the wall deepest in the cave to get to the outside. Some dancing. What's the best edition of Lord of the Rings books to feature the Alan Lee illustration? So I would not recommend the 2020 version from the UK, which I bought. They printed the art on really crappy matte paper, and it just washes everything out, makes it look bad. And the book dust jackets are also made out of like moth wings, is what someone said in the comments. They're like tissue paper. They're absolutely bad choices of materials. So I'd look at the 2002 or 2003 editions if you can find them used on eBay. That preserve the art and stuff. There's usually a 3-book set. You can buy them separately. I have the 4-book set that includes The Hobbit. So you may have to buy that one separately or just buy them all separately. But the 2002 or 2003 editions are probably going to be the best ones. Corrects the typos. There's typos. Like, there's been typos in Lord of the Rings for like 70 years. So it corrects some of the typos from like the 1990 whatever editions that Alan Lee was first in. I'm getting better all the time. The chests in the ancient cave may look open, but you should check them. Check them anyway. Come here, little girl. Talk to me. Ever hear of Easterly Falls? It's huge. You ought to check it out. Alright. I will check it out. Let's see what kind of armor we got here. The Lord of the Rings movies were good when they came out. In the next half century, they'll be both banned by the mainstream and idolized by the counterculture. Perhaps. I think I have all these stuff. Do you think it's important for people to read Lord of the Rings before watching the movies or watching cartoons to form their own mental visuals first? Like, my mind's Gollum is not in the movies. I read them before I saw any shows, so I don't know what's important or not, but I read them first. Coral Sword, I think, is pretty good here. Mage Slasher, Trident, Katana, Silver Bow. Yeah, the 60th anniversary edition, it comes as one book. I don't know if his illustrations are in there. If they are, they're probably good. I bought that for a friend, I think, a couple years ago. And so I think they were pretty good. I already did a video on the version that I have, and I don't really recommend that version. I recommend you look at something else. See if you can find some at a used bookstore. A lot of times you can find them at used bookstores. There we go, Coral Sword. Have anything that's better? Healing Staff. It goes to like 0 power. Yeah. Yeah. Alright. I didn't look into buying the Shadow books. I have a lot of them just as PDF, you know. Be nice to have physical editions. I don't have infinite money though, so you have to kind of pick and choose. I'm not that into the Shadows. I know some people are. Not my favorite. 500 years ago, our ancestors had a wonderful civilization. Okay. One day we'll say that. Protests. Alright, I already have all these. Yeah, the early 2000s ones were pretty good. Are the Lord of the Rings movies old enough to be on VHS? Yes, they were on VHS. There were some VHSs. Of course, you could always copy them to VHS from DVD, and it's going to be... Like, I don't know why you'd want the VHS, actually. Like, what? Why VHS? I don't know why you'd want the VHS, though. That's like a weird thing. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why you'd want the VHSs, though. Like, I don't know what's good about VHS versus DVD, or really anything. All right. See if I can get out over there. But there's a secret. In. Don't need to stay here. Ah, there we go. Well, I did see somebody on YouTube was using a downscaler to like downscale modern games to 240p and then play them on a CRT. And like some of them look kind of cool. They even did it with the Final Fantasy VII remake, so you see it in like 240p, and it's like it looks like a PS1 game. Kind of cool, I guess. Yeah, the cave has got squirrels that kill me very quickly, so I need to not go in there. What time is it? It's getting a little late here. We'll play for a little bit longer, and then we probably need to call it. Yeah, I was here. I'm not sure if there's somewhere to go right here. I don't see. I got the summon. I think that might be the only thing to get right there. They talk about like going to the waterfall, but I can't do that. Might be something up over here. Let's check. A monster. Let's find out. These guys will die easy, I think. How's my army coming? Oh, you hear my kids? They're playing. We're going on vacation tomorrow, so got to get a bunch of stuff ready for that, which means may not have a stream next week. But if you're on the mailing list, please do pay attention to the email, because I will have something coming on Monday, which is my birthday. Anything here? More dogs. I miss my Game Gear. I have a handful of the games, but the system was broken decades ago. The first new James Patterson Shadow novel was published. It's set in a dystopian future and turns the Shadow who awakes from suspended animation into a sidekick for a teenage girl. Wow. Sounds awful. Yeah, you bring some extra batteries for that Game Gear, but it was really cool. It was a really cool system at the time. Like, we really loved it and thought it was great at the time. Oh, see, I think I need a black chocobo to get here. See, there's a meteorite right there. I think that's what you need a black chocobo for. That's going to be annoying. Go get a black chocobo and then fly back over there. I do like the music though. Find Crescent Island again. There it is. I always wanted the Sega Nomad. I played Genesis games. It was basically like a Nintendo Switch, but Genesis. It just came out too late in like the life cycle of the Genesis. It's like we basically had Nintendo Switch in the 90s. It was called Sega Nomad. You could plug it into a TV and just play it like that, like plug controllers into it. It was awesome. It had way worse battery life than the Game Gear, though. It took like 8 AA's and it lasted like an hour. But it was very portable. You wonder when good games with deep stories will come back? I wonder that too. Don't know if they ever will come back. I'm trying to figure out where that little spot was again. It's like I can't see very much. Here it is. It's going to be around here somewhere. There we go. Well, I can't do anything with that. Games might hit what I like to call the chess wall. Board games are made all the time and such, but at a point people stick with the classics. It's true. Alright, well that didn't do anything. Let's go back. Slowly fly back. Slowly fly back to Crescent Island. There's a huge amount of backlog of games you can play like this one. Like, you don't have to stick with bad games. That's what's great. It's like the back catalog has never been bigger. There's never been a better time to play games because, yeah, maybe the new games coming out aren't that interesting, but there's a huge backlog of good games you can play. It's actually probably a good little grinding spot here. I'm not sure where I go next. I'm still like looking around. I have to find the next crystal. Still can't find it. Maybe I have to like just look it up or something. I don't know. Maybe it's in this cave, you know? Maybe it's in this cave. But I'm just like too low a level to do anything. I just need to grind up a bit. I've been watching E3 coverage. You're not missing anything. I mean, E3 itself is kind of outdated. It's like, it's a thing from before social media. So, you know, Nintendo does Nintendo Directs. Like, these companies can just talk to you directly now. Did you ever design a board game in high school? I did not. Alright, I might try this one more time. Oh wait, here's the entrance to the cave. I landed at the back of the cave. So maybe Jahol Cave. Let's save before we do anything. And we'll see if this is the right place before we call it a day. No. Alright. There we go. Switches, okay. Oh, I like this. See if it's one of these squirrels that kills us. Nut eater. Alright, these squirrels are killable. That platinum squirrel was just like instantly hit me for 1,000. That wasn't fun. I've got a guinea pig in my office now, by the way. It's my wife's like schoolroom pet, or she's a speech therapist, but yeah. He's here for the summer, so he gets to hang out in my office. He's cute. He does not let you hold him. And you can check the chests. They said sometimes there's something in them. Now we gotta hit this one of the switches to move that thing back over, I think. Let's go down here. Oh, they keep appearing and disappearing? No. I think that's just a... No? I wrote a whole book about my living situation and how I balance all my titles as artist and dad. It's called Keys to Prolific Creativity, and you can get it on Amazon for like $2.99 or something, $3.99. Yeah, I have a whole book on it. It really comes down to what you prioritize to do with your time on a daily basis. It's because you can't do everything. Okay. I'm trying to figure out this puzzle here before this thing kills me. Silly squirrel. I mean, personally, I talk about that in the book. You know? Talk about all that. What I do is not going to be the same as what you're going to do, though. I mean, you have to think about that. You know? I usually wake up, read like articles and stuff from friends or on their blogs. Then I will hang out with my kids, make them food, do my son's school stuff at some point during the day, and then I will either exercise when my wife gets home or usually wait till the kids go to sleep. And then I'll do some cardio, then I'll get to work until about midnight, 1 a.m., and then go to sleep. Let's check this chest up there. He said to check the chests. The NPC said to check the chests. Man, this is a squirrel-infested cave here. You know, here I will say, here's something about balancing fitness with any life, is that when you realize that fitness is like 80 to 90% diet, that's actually something that's very easy to fit into your life. To have a diet that is correct, and is good for you, that can fit into your life, you know? Because that doesn't take as much time as like going to the gym and lifting weights. Diet, you know, the order is like diet and training and sleep are below diet. Diet's more important. So if you're like, how do I look good and still have time to go? You can go to the gym 3 times a week or 2 times a week or whatever. Spend 30 minutes a day exercising where the other dude's spending 4 hours. But if your diet's on point and his isn't, you're going to look 10 times better. That's just how it is. A good diet, you can't out-exercise a bad diet. And a good diet will make it so you don't need to do as much work in the gym. It's the truth. It's just the truth. So diet is a lot easier to fit in your life than other things. And if you're in a place where like you're eating out all the time because your life is hectic, try packing a lunch, you know. You know, that's like one little change you can do. Like just pack your lunch and make it good. So that's my opinion on that. The other thing is like, you know, you have to really want it. So whatever you want to do, it's all about focus and it's all about how much you want it, because you'll find ways to get it done. You'll find time to get it done if you want to do it. You know, you'll find little places that you can work. I have 20 minutes to work, I'll do some work. Or, you know, you find ways to get away and read the book that you want to read. Ooh, a shuriken. Those are good. Skull Eater, he hits you for 1,000,000. Is it gonna be another Skull Eater? Maybe he just like kills somebody and then he dies real easy. Let's try it out. Alright. So can't do damage to him. Most people are not going to out-exercise a bad diet. They're not eating. They're not Michael Phelps. They're not in an Olympic pool every day. I'm going to try lightning on this guy. Or we can summon... Oh, he ran away. Okay. This is ridiculous how much damage those things do. Alright, let's see what this squirrel's gonna do. Incisor, my gosh. Oh, he's dead. Oh my gosh! There's... Well, how am I supposed to kill these guys? I'm gonna have to like Google it real quick. It has 1 HP. But you can't hit it. When hit by magic, 5 copies of it will appear. Ninja Throw, Ranger's Rapid Fire, or Geomancer's Gaia will kill it, apparently. I'm not gonna bother healing up because he just one-shots everything. Alright, let's see if we can actually like... Here comes another one. Let's see if we can actually kill this thing. Nope, I can't! I ran away. I'm gonna run out of Phoenix Downs. I'm gonna run out. Oh, we're gonna have to use a spell. Let's use the spell instead. Raise. No need to heal up because we're just gonna get incisored to death again. Here we go. First strike. Knife. I didn't do anything! Yeah, we can't hit him. My gosh, this thing. The Thanos squirrel just split into 5 Thanos squirrels. Empty. There's a card. Lone Wolf the Pickpocket was here. There we go. Nut eaters. Back to the nut eaters. Now I kind of do need to pump these guys up because the nut eaters can kill you. Ah! There's nothing in the cave. Do I have a teleport spell? Is there like a emergency exit? Do I have anything like that? I don't think that did anything. Did it give me? It should have given me the summon. Rama, there he is. Maybe we can use Rama to kill the nut eater, to kill the skull eaters. Apparently, these are really good ways to farm like job points. AP farming. All right, he ran away. Got 5 ability points. Let's see if we can get out of here quickly before we are devoured by the skull eaters. It's just regular squirrels. Yeah, I was going for my ninja. Here we go. Nut eaters. Oh no! Alright, we're gonna try. I'm gonna try throwing something at this guy. A dirk. Can't hit him. Can't hit him. Apparently he has 1 HP, but I wouldn't know because I can't hit him. I looked him up. Get out of here. Alright, well that was an interesting little adventure. Alright, let's go ahead and save, and I'm going to call the stream here because it's 3 o'clock. We've gone 2 hours. This is an extra long stream because I think I'm not going to be here next week. So I might stream on Sunday if anybody's around, but we'll see. Otherwise, I appreciate you guys watching. Hope you have a good day. And stay tuned in your email or on YouTube for Monday. It should have like a little giveaway or something. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but we'll find out. So thanks so much, guys, and I will see you all next time.